Bitcoin with a brutal pullback today, fishing out the liquidity on the bottom side of the range, and that range is 72,000 to the upside, 58,000 to the downside, and a break of this range is going to bring the next critical move in Bitcoin's price action. More specifically, I think Bitcoin could be broken up into, four nice quadrants, with the box of peace and prosperity and death and despair coming in at 65,800 to about, call it 65,000 bucks. If we can clear that level and make a higher low, my opinion on Bitcoin, well, having a major move back to the top side of the range, possibly grabbing the liquidity on the top side, are going to be much more, in focus and in sight. But until then, right now, to me, this looks like a bit of a shakeout before the breakout. Coming in and filling the middle of this wick here to the downside is very, very common. We didn't quite fill it, but maybe that's what we'll get at the end of the day as price action does close. And we did say, hey, we're looking for a drive of bullish divergence. I was telling my colleague here this morning, look, technically, we'll have the bullish divergence if we have a candle body closure below this low. And I don't know if you can see this. We got an hour and 41 minutes left in the day. And if this candle body is lower than this low, well, then you will have some hidden bullish divergence where the price is making higher lows, but the the price is making lower lows, but the RSI is making higher lows. Call it two drives, whatever you want to call it. But in fact, price would be making a lower low and the RSI would be making a higher low. And if we do close the day anywhere above 60,232, that'll be looking good. So it's kind of a bit of a catch-22 in that sense. We do have the etchings of a W formation being formed here on the hourly time frame. Let's see if it's more present on the 15-minute time frame. 15 minutes. So could you call this the beginning of a W? Possibly. It looks like sloppy on a 15-minute time frame. It looks a lot better here on this time frame. And where's the middle wick? Well, right here in this area. So a 30-minute closure back above 60,600 will look good for a retest of the breakdown level, coming in at 61,885. Just in general, just remember, everybody got real bullish, including myself, over the past couple of days. We saw a lot of bright green in the bubbles in the charts, and now today coming into some red, altcoins being on the receiving end of most of that red. And I just kind of want to remind myself here that, Bitcoin is still doing the typical thing after the halving. You get a range. We're 101 days into this range, so the move is going to be explosive. We haven't broken it yet to the upside or to the downside. And volatility is going to reset here. So this increase in volatility on the daily time frame obviously led to a downside move. Now, a mean reversion as volatility is declining would indicate that Bitcoin would bounce back up. So as volatility is declining, either Bitcoin trades sideways or up. So we want to see the up part now. If you're bullish, if you're bearish, hey, more down, more party to the downside. Okay, just wanted to check in on NASDAQ as we are approaching the next level at 20,600. NASDAQ ripping to the upside. S&P doing the same thing. The day is closed here, so we're going on the second day. Dow, nobody has closed the gap yet. Interesting here on the hourly time frame. We brought this up a couple of days ago, saying, hey, this gap likely to get filled on CMEs. Holy smokes. I need to go ahead and close this position. 180. Okay, I'm out. Dang it. Out. Horrible. Anyways, back onto the chart here. Closing out the trade here, and Bitcoin is filling the gap on the CME. So very much so, as we shot through this gap, indicated more downside. Well, this one, as long as we hold this gap, and we did have another gap here on the hourly time frame as CMEs did close. It is the beginning of Thursday for CMEs. The daily Stokes need to get above 60,442 to uncross itself. To me, this isn't the picture of health and fitness, but we're at the bottom side of the range. So technically we should be bullish at the bottom side of the range and bearish at the top side of the range. So let's look at this from a bounce perspective. Our bounce plays are still intact for Bitcoin to at least get a temporary bounce. Where's the bounce target? I want to see if I got the trade set up here. But the bounce target in general, easy way to manage the risk here actually at the close of the day. And I just want to see if momentum did cross down for spot price 60,233. We haven't closed the day yet, so it could cross down. But in general, even if we swipe the lows one more time, which I do think there is a chance, we either catch the middle of this wick on the hourly time frame, which is coming in a bit lower at 58.6. Where else does this line up with our 1618 fib? Yeah, so 58.8 is a temporary bounce target. I do think the range lows are going to hold at the moment. Call me crazy. Could be wrong. Not financial advice. Not a financial advisor. But I do imagine the range lows, we don't give it up over 4th of July weekend. What kind of 4th of July would that be for us Bitcoiners out there celebrating Bitcoin? And the fact that Trump is more crypto bullish now, I think definitely adding to the limelight for Bitcoin. Pepe down 10%. Ethereum coming into our buy zone. Anywhere in between the 618 and the 786 is, considered the discount zone where institutions are buying here and selling up here. So again, leaning towards a bounce. Doesn't have to happen on this closure, but we want to see, either the bears are going to take control here very soon, I'd say over the next 5 days or so, or we're going to get a bounce and bulls are going to have another chance. And that all starts, this is a bounce for Ethereum. I do expect Ethereum to bounce a little bit out of this area. Also noting Bitcoin dominance on the daily has continued to reject our trend line. So if we lose this region, that's going to be points for the alt season, in my opinion. Alongside this, we have the higher high and the higher low in place. We just want to see continuation from here, another higher high and a higher low, or just higher lows for the altcoin season to pick back up. Other than that, Dixie down, short-term down. So that should have given Bitcoin, a little bit of a chance to bounce here today. And it did not bounce, closing down 3% for the day. But again, we're in the buy zone. Like this is the discount zone. This is the premium zone. You want to buy at a discount, sell at a premium. And so don't lose all hope out there, at least. That's what I would say. And Solana, we've been bringing this one up because it's outperforming Bitcoin on the Solana Bitcoin pairing. Sol BTC is in a nice little uptrend. Getting rejected here today. Are we going to print some bearish divergence? Maybe back from this high over here? Nope. This high? Nope. So no bearish divergence. So bit of a tough chart there, straight up, straight down. But it is, gradually making. So this is the Sol BTC chart. If I can clean it up a little bit. But you can just see, higher highs and higher lows all the way through, maintaining the higher lows. And essentially, as long as that is maintained, it's going to be good for Solana. And I am looking at this more as a triangle right now, or a pennant. And looks like the short trade did play out, but I'm going to get rid of this stuff. Removing the drawings, getting back onto the drawing board here as we were talking about this being a pennant. And ultimately, we got something like that. And I would imagine we could test this wick one more time. I'd consider this a buying opportunity back down there. Back down there. Anywhere in this little hammer candle would be probably a decent buying opportunity. If we could see Solana wick down to about 128 to 125 and bounce off this one more time, that would look good. And would you have the bullish divergence? Definitely some hidden bullish divergence if we confirm another low here. But nothing looks like health and fitness, and 145.47. So it does look like momentum's in a cross down on the day for Solana. And then you would have volatility, perhaps beginning to increase. We'll have to see what the next tick is here, but that would goose the odds for a little bit more downside tomorrow on Solana, and see if we can pick it up from there. Is the 4 hour getting anything? The only hope for Solana, if you're a shorter term time frame trader, is kind of this last bitty trend line holding up here on the hourly. We still have an hourly uptrend, higher highs and higher lows on the hourly time frame. It has not, and Solana's been holding it up very well compared to your other altcoins. But I do believe if we start to lose this region, it's not going to be pretty for Solana in the short term. This is kind of the pivot in the sand, the line in the sand, so to speak. No hourly closures below that low. Otherwise, I could see right now at least a pity bounce back to 146. If the market does want to bounce here at the end of the day, but it doesn't, look too hopeful at the moment, at least on the shorter term. Rune, gosh, if you guys ever wanted to buy Rune, I mean, the thing is on sale right now. And to be fair, this is not health and fitness. This looks like Rune wants to come down to 335 based on the weekly. We do not want to see volatility increase. Otherwise, this is going to be a massive, head and shoulders and a big leg down for Mr. Rune 5. I was never a fan, but measure move down on this guy is down to about 187. That would be absolutely heartbreaking to see. 52%. Whoa. Just checking in on a few of the other altcoins. Coty, Mr. Coty. Looks like it wants to give it up. Mr. Dogecoin coming into a major trend line. I'll give this one the benefit of the doubt and a buy around that 236 fib. Looks okay to me. Also probably going to line up. Yeah. In the buy zone for Mr. Doggy Coin. Any doggy fans out there, make sure you smash the like button. XLM, do we have a trade set up? This is going to look like a failure. Yep, so we already closed below the stop loss value, and unfortunately, that's sometimes how it goes. And if you came back into it, now could be a potential. Looks like XLM does want to bounce in the short term. AVAX still keeping it alive for the daily trade, the daily. Yeah, these things are on their edge right now. Everything needs to bounce. This needs to be a liquidity grab and a reversal. Otherwise, it might not be the happiest 4th of July for some of us people out there that are in crypto. But I don't want people to worry. I don't want people to think that, there's blood in the streets here. maybe I should be sounding the warning bells, but I think actually this is the time to pay attention the most and to, start looking at some of the discount opportunities out there, because if the statistics play out in our favor, Bitcoin stays above the production cost, as well as, the production cost chart. I'm not going to bring it up, but I am going to bring up the moons, because we've done that one quite a few times on the production cost coming in at 60,000 that doubles after the halving. This would be the definition of a bull moon failure, depending upon how you have your stop losses in for the bull moon, but it's either going to be below the prior low, which would have been this low or this low at the time of the bull moon. That would have been your failed bull moon signal. The bear moon worked out. So, and it isn't over yet. We still got 14 days. We're probably 7 days now, about another week, as we've been saying. Like, if the bears are going to take control, probably going to happen over the next week. And, major legs, major legs down to 50,000 is a possibility. But is this the end of the bull market? No, I do not think we've had capitulation yet, or any kind of event that would indicate a major reversal on the weekly time frames. We are still maintaining the uptrend. Now, we don't want to close below the middle of this wick on the weekly time frame. And again, this is why I'm looking at more likely a bounce than not from here. It could take a day or two to work itself out. But let's see how Bitcoin responds on the 4 hour, coming in and filling this candle, tagging the bottom side. So that's normal. And, 61.8 looks like the bounce target for the end of the day. After a bearish day like this, you often get a backfill. But if we cannot get back above yesterday's high, or today's high, 62.3, pressure is going to be onto the downside. So 62.3, 62,300 is going to be our first warning. And again, that would be above the first quadrant. If we break the range down into 4 quadrants between 72 and 58,000, we're just below at 61.8, back above there. Let's start to get a 12 hour, a 4 hour, or a 1 hour closure back above there, and we can talk more about the bull sauce and get the bulls partying again. But other than that, let's just be prepared and look for some entries. The next major entry I've been looking in on the daily time frame is going to be right here. Taking the middle of this wick at 50% full for an entry, with a quick stop loss below the prior wick low. So that is just a thought out there, and I would be targeting all the way back to the top side of the range. So this is a great, risk to reward opportunity, again, in my opinion. Even if you just target there, that's 8 to 1 right there. 8 to 1 risk to reward opportunity. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button again. I appreciate you all for being there, and I hope you have a blessed and highly favored day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.